So Rocket League is pretty complicated and there's a bazillion ways to flick the ball. But there's certain things you can do to make sure your flicks are as powerful as can be. So let's talk about flicks today. So the first flick that I learned how to do was the front flip flick. So the sweet spot is top of the windshield for front flip flicks. But depending on what you want to do with that flick or where you want to place it will depend on how you angle your car. If I'm aiming top left, then I'm going to shoot top left with a certain kind of flick. Yes, I missed the net. I'm a YouTuber, not a pro Rocket League player. Secondly, there's a degree of difficulty you could incorporate into flicks to get a more powerful flick. Let me explain. A 45-degree flick is a flick that you do this. That's a 45-degree flick. It's a basic flick. It's, I guess, in the basic flick area of flicks. Now, if you want to get a 45 power flick, or what I like to call a 45 boom flick, it kind of looks something more like that. And basically, I don't know if you guys watch Jazer. He kind of recently came up with a flick and called it the Jazer flick, which is that flick there, which is basically a flick that launches the ball to the sky by doing a diagonal flip cancel. It's like doing a diagonal flip cancel to uncancel flick. Okay, it's kind of messed up, right? So that for me is the go-to flick that I use if I want to score my opponents. If I want to get a power flick, there's no reason to rush a flick unless the opponent is close. And if the opponent gets close, you can use your power flicks to score goals. Those are my favorite kind of flicks right there. Because I guess it's odds, right? If I want to get a power flick, I can probably get a power flick with a 180 flick. But the thing is, if I want a guaranteed power flick, I'm going to have a better chance with like a 45 top left or something. You know what I mean? Depending on where the ball is on your car and what is in front of you, you will do different things and try different flicks. Okay, let's talk about delayed air roll flicks. Basically, flicks where you have another jump. So what's going on here is you have to delay that second flip as long as possible. I like to use air roll flicks to get around opponents, to get around defense. Actually, if you check out my last video, I'm pretty sure 2 out of my 3 goals are delayed air roll flicks, and I'm playing against Grand Champion 2s. You can check out that video in the top right corner. I show you how to use air roll flicks. So the Octane is not the best car for a flick video, but I'm still pulling off like all these flicks with the Octane. That's the classy flick there. So if you want to talk breezy flicks, are they effective? Yes. Let me explain why. If you can consistently shoot breezies, it means you can consistently control your musty setups, right? What do I mean? It means a musty is basically this, right? So if you breezy into a musty, it's telling me that you have really good air roll control, or you understand the musty mechanic in a different way, which is a sneakier way. But in a ranked match, I mean, the opponent's going to push you into a certain kind of shot, and you're going to have to decide what you have to do. Sometimes he's just like really close and you got to get off a quick flick right away, depending on the angle, you know? Depending on what your opponents are giving you, you have to adapt. Sometimes faking the flick will work, and then just going under him. That's how you flick the ball.